Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Grow Up. Welcome to another edition of Gettin Scott-Headed, our video series where I rant about a different movie, TV, entertainment, or pop culture related topic. Today I am ranting about why CGI James Dean shouldn't happen. It was recently announced by some no-name studio that they have cast James Dean in an upcoming war movie that's supposed to be set during Vietnam. Yada yada. I don't care about the details of this just because it is stupid. This is one of the dumbest things to come out of Hollywood in a very long time, and Hollywood does a lot of dumb shit all the time, but this takes the cake. This is just, like I said, some no-name studio, meaning not one of the big ones, thankfully. Disney isn't doing this kind of stupid thing, and none of the big ones. It's just some random one that's never made any other movies, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. But beyond that, this idea of just bringing back stars from the past who have passed away and casting them in new movies, I think it's ridiculous. Why it shouldn't happen is it's disrespectful to the memory of those actors. Yes, their family gave permission, but that's just like, well, I don't care if the family gave permission, really, to be honest, because that to me is just they're doing a cash grab, to be honest. Like, you can't defend it in any other way. They're not recreating or doing anything like. All this does is say all an actor is good for is their face, because that's all they can bring back with this. So James Dean, he was only in three movies, starring in 2 movies, in his short life, and that is like part of his legacy, is that he was in those, and that was because he also chose to be in those movies. That's the thing, that this kind of whole like idea of casting dead actors in new movies is just like, you're pretending that they didn't have like a choice in it, saying that their family knows what they'd want best, and maybe they do, but it's also kind of like, well, how can I believe that's not a cash grab when you're clearly making money off of your dead, relative? And it's like, that's shady, that's not cool. That's like, again, it takes away from what that actor did, because like, an actor is more than just what they look like. It's what they bring to the role. It's their thought processes that go into portraying these characters and creating these characters that we see on screen. And casting dead actors in new stuff just takes away from anything an actor does in a movie. It's just saying, oh no, we don't need you. We can slap anybody's face on anything and that's good enough. And it's like, well, no, this isn't James Dean being cast. They have pretty much decided to take a digital James Dean mask and slap it on somebody else and pretend that is James Dean acting. But that's what it comes down to. It's not James Dean acting. They're putting James Dean's face digitally on somebody else and pretending it's James Dean. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. And some people are like, well, Disney did do it, Scott, with Peter Cushing. And it's like, well, that is a totally different scenario in that he did create that character. Peter Cushing played that character already. That's where this line does get fuzzy for me, is that if the actor had already played the character before and that's what you're bringing back, that's a slightly different story than taking an actor and deciding to cast him in a new role in a new film that you're deciding for him or her or them. You're deciding for them that like the decision for them. Like, yeah, they would act in this based off what their family has decided, just because they want to make some more money. Because you can try and say it's more than that, but I'm like, no. Did you do it for free? Did you sign off the rights for free? No, you took a paycheck, and you're like, well, why shouldn't they? Well, you just shouldn't be taking advantage of your dead relatives in this way, I think, personally. It kind of, like I said, it takes away from what James Dean did in his life, the acting, like his acting. It takes just away from his acting by saying, oh, we can just take your face, James Dean, put it on somebody else, and that's you. And it's like, well, no, that's not what made James Dean. It was like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an expert on James Dean. I'm kind of using him as the example for in general, and them not wanting this to continue or to happen again, or even to happen in general, because it takes away from what an actor is. You're saying that all an actor is the face that you've seen already, and not the things that made you remember that face. And it is a weird way to put that, but meaning that James Dean wasn't just a pretty face. That's not why we all remember him. It was what he brought to the roles, of the roles that he was in. Like I said, I'm not an expert on these things, but the fact that I know who James Dean is just shows how long his legacy has already lasted, and I get why a marketing company would do this, and I get why a family would be okay with it. I just think somebody needs to have some morals in this world. We need to like draw a line somewhere. Like I said, I was the Peter Cushing, I think that's right, in Rogue One. That was a little different because he had already established that, and again, it's a little bit more of a gray area because I still felt they overused him. I think we should have only seen like a reflection in the window, but that's just me. But the point is that this casting, I don't even like calling it that, of James Dean, like I said, it just takes away from what anything, like, why is Tom Cruise in anything? Why don't we just take his face, slap it on somebody else? We got plenty of footage of that. Why don't we take Brad Pitt's face, put it on every male actor ever? Because it's like, can we get a prettier face than Brad Pitt? Like, why? What's the point then? What's the point of individuality if we're just gonna slap other people's, like, people who've already had their life and their legacy, and we're just gonna take their faces and slap it on someone else, pretending that they would have made this decision just based off what their family has said, based off of what a studio's decided to create around this character, pretending that actors don't individually have any input into the characters that they're portraying on screen. And it's like, what? To me, this is just a lazy marketing stunt. It's completely uncreative. You tell me this, I'm just like, yeah, you're lazy. You didn't want to find a new actor. You don't want to cast a new actor, or you don't want to try and make somebody. You don't want to try to make the character fit with somebody else, or vice versa. Like, if you can find the perfect person for this role, maybe change the role a little bit. Like, instead of pretending that you're trying to extend James Dean's legacy, you're not. All you're doing is kind of tarnishing what he's did by saying, oh, well, we can take his face and take what we think made James Dean and slap it on somebody else's, body while they got some dots on their face, and we're going to pretend that that's, no, it's dumb, it's ridiculous. To me, this is the worst types of things with, when it comes to Hollywood. It's just like, no, like, this is just too far. Stop it. Don't let this happen. Don't go see this if it does happen, people. Please, for my sanity, for the sanity of society, for creative, individuality, just don't support this kind of thing, because it just, again, it takes away from what an actor has ever done in their life. Any of the roles they've ever played don't mean anything if they can just take their face, slap it on somebody else, and pretend that that's them. That, to me, is just ridiculous, and just, again, takes away from individuality and creativity, and just boils all it's trying to boil this thing down to a thing that might as well just be booted out by a computer. Why don't we just create a computer formula in this sense and be like, create story, pop out random stories. They've tried that. Guess what? They're terrible stories, and that's a little bit further off point, but it's just because this frustrates me. Don't do it. The studio should just give the money back. They should wrap it up and they should just actually fold all things together, because clearly they don't have good ideas. So that's my thoughts on this. What did you guys think about this? Are you excited for this? Do you think it's fine? Sure, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to hear the counterpoints to the advantages of this, other than just, I honestly can't see any. I can't see, yes, it would have been nice if we had maybe seen more movies with actors who passed away before they're, too soon in their lives, but it also takes away, like I said, it takes away, so I'm not going to start again. Sure, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Thanks again for joining me today. Sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.